Here's the truth about drum speed. No matter how many exercises you try to do to build up your drum speed, you'll likely always hit a plateau or cause something far worse to happen to your hands if you don't know how and which techniques to use that fits best with whatever you're trying to play. Contrary to popular belief, there's no such thing as a one technique that fits all, meaning you'll struggle with producing the same kind of results trying to use a technique to play the double stroke roll that's actually meant to be used for playing the single stroke roll. In this example video here, you can see that I'm using two totally different techniques to play each of these rudiments between how I'm gripping the stick and how I'm producing my drum strokes. Of course, these techniques are both meant to help control the rebound, but at the end of the day, you gotta know what techniques to use and you gotta understand how to use them. And then once you understand what techniques you're gonna use, the next step is to actually develop your forearm muscles, which will help strengthen up your fingers. It'll help you utilize these techniques a lot better. Now, although I'm not going to cover anything about the double stroke roll, I think I'm going to save that for another video. Let me know if you guys want me to talk about the double stroke roll in another video, by the way. But in this video, we're going to mostly cover the single stroke roll. I'm going to show you some grip techniques that are safe and effective. And following that, I'm going to teach you how to use the finger control technique. And towards the end of the video, I'm going to share with you a few little exercises that's going to help you develop your grip techniques and your finger control technique, which will help you produce better, stronger, and faster single stroke rolls. This is called French grip. You're going to place your thumb over the top of the stick and wrap your other fingers around on the opposite side. In this case, it's going to be wrapped around the bottom of the stick. This grip technique allows you to maximize your leverage and control over your rebounds. This is American grip. You're going to rotate your forearm more inward so that way your thumb is pointing at around 45 degrees. While at the same time, your fingers are going to be wrapped around on the opposite side. This is going to allow you to still get leverage over the stick with your thumb still slightly over the top of the stick while at the same time controlling the rebound. This grip will also allow you to gain more power over your drumming strokes with your fingers. This is called German grip. You're going to rotate your forearm all the way to where your thumb is on the side of your stick, while once again your fingers are going to be wrapped around on the opposite side of your drumstick. Now, although when it comes to utilizing the finger control technique, it's going to be a lot more difficult to gain leverage over your drumming strokes with your fulcrum point. However, it's going to allow you to maximize the power over your drumming strokes when you're utilizing your fingers. The main theme with these three grips is the fact that you're able to utilize the finger control technique with them. Now I'm going to show you how to use the finger control technique. First, one of the most important aspects to this technique is knowing how to grip the stick in the first place. So first we got to establish the fulcrum point. So I'm going to show you what each grip looks like at the fulcrum point. So first, going over French grip, here's how the fulcrum point looks if you drop your middle ring and pinky finger off of the stick. This is what it would look like from this angle. Put the stick up. You're going to have your index finger wrapped around the stick on the opposite side from your thumb. And again, this is how it looks from this angle with your fingers on the stick and with your fingers off of the stick. Next, when you rotate it over to American grip, it's going to look pretty similar to French grip. You're going to have your index finger wrapped around the stick on the opposite side from your thumb. And finally, going over German grip, you're going to rotate your forearm to where your thumb is on the side of the stick. And this is what it looks like from the inside. As you can see, the index finger is wrapped around the stick on the opposite side from your thumb. However, it's going to be tougher to maintain the fulcrum point when you're using the finger control technique. Next, going over how to actually play your strokes. So I'm going to use the French grip for this example. You can use whatever grip you want to use though. So you're going to release your middle, ring, and pinky finger off of the stick and just keep your fulcrum point on the stick. Now, this method we're going to use what I call the shake method. You're pretty much going to shake your hand while you're letting the stick dangle from your fulcrum point. And you're going to let the butt of the stick hit the palm of your hand. Now, the shake method is going to be pretty much the same concept as if you were to hold a stick up and try to make it look like rubber. I didn't do a very good job of that. But anyways, so when you're doing the shake method, you don't have to shake your stick really hard. This is unnecessary. Lightly shake your hand through your forearm and eventually you're going to get the stick to wiggle in your fulcrum point. This is what you want. So once you get more used to gripping your stick with your fulcrum point, next step, go ahead and wrap the rest of your fingers around the stick, but don't grip it too tight. Keep it nice and loose. Let the back of your stick dribble between the palm of your hand and your fingers while still using the shake method. So once you feel comfortable with that, next step, let's get your fingers more involved. So go ahead and press the stick into the palm of your hand with your fingers. You don't have to do it really hard. All you got to do is lightly tap the back of your stick, and you should be able to tap it into the palm of your hand. This is just to help you get used to using the finger control technique, tapping the back of your stick with your fingers. Another method you could practice with is by flipping the sticks upside down and grip your fulcrum point near the butt of the stick like you would if you was holding it regular. So next, you want to use your fingers to press the stick into your forearm. Make sure you hold your forearm straight up in the air so that way it makes it easier for you to practice the finger control technique by tapping your sticks into your forearm with your fingers. Next, you can go ahead and do this with your opposite hand and start working on both ends. Now, before we practice actually playing on your drum or drum pad or whatever you're practicing on, first we got to find the balance point of the stick. Now, every stick model is going to have a slightly different balance point, so you might have to change the placement of your fulcrum point on the stick. So a way to try to find the balance point is to move your fulcrum point around. If your fulcrum point is too far back on the stick, you won't get any rebound, and you might even feel some discomfort. So you're going to have to make adjustments until you find the balance point of the stick. And you'll know that you found the balance point of the stick when the rebound feels the most natural. So really all you want to do is have your fingers controlling the rebound of the stick. Once you find the balance point of the stick, the next step is to practice the finger control technique. Again, you can use whatever grip orientation you want: French grip, American grip, German grip. Ultimately, whichever grip you feel the most comfortable with. But the key thing here is to make sure you are utilizing the finger control technique the right way. Now, if you want to take a deeper dive into trying to get your fingers more used to the finger control technique, you can try to isolate each finger, starting off by keeping your fulcrum point on the stick, plus keeping your middle finger on the stick while you take your ring finger and pinky finger off the stick. Once you feel good with that, next you remove your middle finger off the stick and put your ring finger onto the stick and apply the same method. And then last but not least, you can go ahead and do the same method with your pinky finger. And you can use this method to practice with your technique over and over. I just recommend that you don't try to play 2,000 beats per minute with it. Keep it at a nice and steady pace. The point of this is just to get your fingers more used to the technique and the rebound. So now you're probably asking questions like, what if you're using a drum that has little to no rebound at all? Or a drum pad that likes to absorb your rebound? To demonstrate this technique with a towel, as you can see, it works just fine. Yes, even though you may be playing on a drum that has less rebound, the key here is to either A, you're going to play harder with your fingers, which at that point you may run into leverage issues even if you're in a French grip, or B, you can also add in the shake method alongside with the finger control technique, and that should help with adjusting to a surface that has less rebound or absorbs your rebound. And depending on how much rebound is absorbed, the harder you're going to have to play it. Use more of the shake method alongside with the finger control technique. Now with this honorable mention, we're going to talk about your grip posture. Now depending on what kind of grip you decide to go with, you're going to have to make some adjustments by shifting your elbows around. So essentially you want to make the shape of a V when you're hovering your drumsticks over your drum. And this method works the same way on a drum kit if you're sitting down in front of your snare drum. Ultimately, the key here is to find where you're comfortable at. But you don't want to shift your elbows and wrists and everything too much out of the way, or you're possibly going to run into some issues with actually playing your strokes, no matter what grip orientation you use. You want to make sure your wrist is straight with your forearm the whole time, so that way you can maximize the use of really any drum technique you decide to use, but especially including the finger control technique. So once you get more used to and comfortable with using the finger control technique, the next step is to start targeting your forearm muscles in order to strengthen up your technique and ultimately help you increase your drum speed and endurance. So the next segment of this video is going to feature a few exercises that's going to really help you with the finger control technique and help you target your forearm muscles to build them nice and strong. And the sheet music will be featured on the bottom of the page so that way you can play along. If you found this video helpful to you, let me know in the comments section. Go ahead, make that like button party, and check out the links below if you guys are interested in further advancing your drumming skills.